happened to see Gene West today, wish her a happy birthday, our former past president. A couple of honorary members of our club have birthdays tomorrow. Our mayor, Gregory Berg, and PK president, Capaludo. Kelly, come on up and provide our invocation today. Kelly Hutchinson's the Senior VP of Development of Masonic Homes, Kentucky, and she's chair of the invocation committee.
Please join me in giving thanks. Thanks for the privilege we enjoy of being part of this Rotary Club and our shared commitment to service above self. Thank you for the life lessons of sports. Whether playing or watching, sports is exciting. It teaches us rules, fair play, teamwork, discipline, goal setting, practice, how to lose, how to win, how to lead, how to follow, and how to have fun. Bless our speaker today and the time we had to be together. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Now to lead us in the four-way test and our Pledge of Allegiance is Louis Seeger, who is the commercial leader at Park National Bank, a commercial lender and leader. He's the vice chair of the membership committee, a pretty important membership engagement and development committee, and he's a Paul Harris Fellow, +1.
Hello, everyone. Would you please join me in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the four-way test.
If it is true, if it's fair to all concerned, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Coach, for coming today. I know you have a busy day. There this morning, got practice at 1:30. Got to get that team going. Rotarians, if you have a guest, please come on up and introduce them. Guests, please stand when you are introduced.
Ken, my guest today is Nick Phelps, who heads up the wealth management division for Fifth Third. College of Business, University of Louisville. I have a proud family of Cardinals with me today. Please stand. I have our new dean. Welcome. I think he's back. Our associate dean for programs at the College of Business, Dr. Jeff Wan. Ian Galarski, executive assistant to the dean. Who is new to the graduate program as well as a recruiter in the graduate programs.
President Ken Rotary, distinguished guests, I'm Kevin Fields. I'm proud to introduce my guest today, Lawrence Red Herring. Lawrence is my neighbor. He holds many distinctions beyond that. One of which he owns one of the most progressive insurance agency, Patriot Insurance Group in this community. If you're in the commercial business, if you're in the industrial business, he's your guy for insurance. He's also my neighbor. Good morning, President Ken. First, I'd be remiss if I didn't do this. And this is why, part of the reason why we're part of Rotary. I want to thank everybody for their notes, cards, phone calls, texts, just checking on me, and that's just been really, really nice. And now, Ken, you know the difference between a bad haircut is and a good haircut is? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. They lied. It's more than that. My guest today, first, is my son, Dan Kuno. Dan, please stand up. Project manager and over management, Mark Vanderwerf, who's a retired pharmacist. Ronnie Wibbles, our outlaw. Ronnie's retired from ICI just a couple of months ago. And finally, my good friend Billy Bean, who was on the board of tax appeals. He's off it now, so you
Mr. Whitney. Thanks. President Ken, I'm Ray Strothman, and I have a guest from Lexington, of all places. His name is Chris Anderson. And Chris, would you stand up, please? Chris is a fellow CPA. He's a financial advisor. He sold a CPA firm, but now he works for American Trust. And he roots for U of L, except when they're playing this team in Lexington. But he is a Rotarian, and we're glad to have him, Chris. He wanted to hear you because he loves your stuff. So we can't wait till you say you love him.
President Ken, fellow Rotarians, my name is Kevin Smith. Coach, good to see you again this morning. My guest today, she'll stand up please, is Christine Tarquinio, Vice President of Marketing and Communications for Goodwill, Kentucky.
Good afternoon, President Ken, Rotarians. I brought some fellow U of L fans. Rob Jones, he has his own promotional and marketing company. And then my executive assistant, Kelsey Aldridge at the Kentucky Humane Society, and Brittany Chain, our COO.
Good afternoon, President Ken and fellow Rotarians. I have two guests today. Nancy Ganote, who is Senior Business Technology Advisor for Mirazon, and my son, Max, future Rotarian and future filmmaker. Thank you.
Good afternoon, President Ken, fellow Rotarians, and honored guests. I am Shannon Kisselbaugh with Park Community Credit Union Foundation, and I have a guest today, Jeff Thornton, who is the VP of Operations for Park Community Credit Union. Elza.
Good afternoon, President Ken, fellow Rotarians. Rensha Allen here, and my guest is Casey Young with New York Life.
Angie Howard with Greater Louisville Inc., the Metro Chamber of Commerce, and my special guest today is AJ Pfeiffer, Business Development Manager for Duplicator Sales and Service.
And my name is Larry Sloan, and my guest today is my good friend John Scurll, who stand up, John. John and I are team partners at the U of L basketball games, and he is the owner and still kind of an active guy as far as wood flooring, local wood flooring. His floors are in the White House in Bergen and many homes elsewhere. So please give him home for the Thank you.
Hi, President Ken, fellow Rotarians, Chris Burek. My guest today is Shyla Smaldon, the Manager of Corporate and Foundation Relations for Habitat for Humanity. And then I stole a guest, Tad Hasbrook, who is General Manager of the Holiday Inn Louisville Airport and a visiting Rotarian from
Rotary Southwest.
Southwest.
Good afternoon, President Ken, fellow Rotarians. My guest, please stand, Sarah Bowman. Sarah is the engagement manager. I shouldn't say this because the coach is here. She basically recruits for all of our community leadership programs, and she's a hell of a recruiter. So I'm just letting you know. But Sarah Bowman from Leadership Global Center, we're glad to have her here, and I think possibly a future Rotarian. So, Sarah Bowman.
President Ken, Craig Mooney. I can't see, so I got to put on my Pat Kelsey glasses. I'd like to introduce my son, senior, University of Louisville, Nick Moody.
Hello, President Ken and fellow Rotarians. I'm Gwen Mooney, the president of Cave Hill Cemetery, and my guest today is Dalton Godby. Dalton is a reporter with WDRB. He is also the writer and producer of a special series called Crossroads that covers all of Kentucky and things that are happening in Kentucky. And Dalton just happens to be my son-in-law.
Thank you all, and thank you all our guests who are joining us. At the end of the meeting, please join the What is Rotary table so you can learn more from from Craig Sherman, who knows more about Rotary than anybody. I know Craig's here. Stand up, Craig. All right. All right, we have some Rotarians in the spotlight to celebrate. Congrats to Dr. Greg Ross and the West End School. They had a grand opening, as we mentioned at last week's meeting, the new girls program. Governor Beshear, Mayor Greenberg, Senator Neal, and Congressman McGarvey were all there, and some of our Rotarians were there, including Walt Kunow, our former president, Ashley Brower. Congrats to Chris Manzo with SND DX and Jeremy Korka with Miranda Construction. They both were recently in the spotlight at the ribbon cutting and rededication of the Ozanan Inn Men's Emergency Shelter. Congrats to Renee Brown on the appointment by Mayor Greenberg to serve as one of the 9 community representatives on the Community Safety Council. So if you go to Rotary, LouisvilleRotary.org, you can scroll all the way down and see all the upcoming events and all the spotlights. We have Rotarians doing great things every day. Thank you for what you do to serve our community. An event that's coming up, pretty exciting one, an opportunity for an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to design, test, and build the world's most accessible museum. It's the DOT Experience. I remember the presentation to us last year that the American Printing House for the Blind is scheduled to open in late next year, and will feature the Helen Keller Archives, her desk, Stevie Wonder's piano, a lot more. Cynthia Torp and Phoebe Wood have invited us to host a VIP experience September 30th at 4 o'clock. Link is in Sparks and our website. Our Public Image Committee continues to grow and would love to welcome Rotarians who have interest in skills in photography, videography, writing, editing, social media platforms, or just collecting content that we can turn into stories about the amazing things our members are doing and Rotarians around the world are doing. Kevin McCarran is chairing our committee again. Thank you, Kevin. So you can see him or Colleen. Meanwhile, we would love for everyone to follow us online and so that you don't miss the content. We hope to be posting regularly. You'll find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll also have member groups set on Facebook and LinkedIn where you can share information with each other about events and our volunteer opportunities. We have typically 5 or so every week. I'd like to invite to the podium Craig Mooney again from over there. Craig's amazing. He's the COO, CFO with Boss Construction, club treasurer. That's an important role. Chair of the Rotary Honors Scholar Committee, which is huge, and Paul Harris Fellow. He's going to give us an update on the Rotary Honors Scholar Program.
Okay, President Ken, I guess we're, 8 days from kickoff, UL football versus KU. School's back in session. Figured it's a great time to talk about Rotary Honor Scholars. So I asked Tracy to put a few slides up on the screen for me to detail what the sessions are for Rotary Honor Scholars, the dates of Rotary Honor Scholars this year, and a few photographs of previous Rotary Honor Scholars mentoring sessions. So, next slide, please. Oh! There he is again in his Pat Kelsey glasses. I don't know how they got up there. So, what is the Rotary Honors Scholars Program? There's a photograph of President Ken teaching one of our students how to tie a tie. So, the Rotary Honors Scholars Program is in its 13th year, I believe, if I've done my math correctly. And we meet 6 times a year at both Iroquois and Western High School, 3 times during the fall semester, 3 times during the spring semester. And we work with the students on the fundamentals coach. We teach them about setting goals, personal goals, academic goals, career goals, getting them to think about their future. We work with them on how to introduce themselves with confidence, how to keep the conversation going. We work with them on an elevator speech, putting together a resume. And then once they have a resume, how do they prep for the interview? How do you dress for an interview? How do you do the basic things like do research on the company that you're going to be interviewing with so that you know a little bit about that company and that position that you're going to be applying for? How to have a few questions available and ready to ask the person that you're interviewing so that it's not just a one-way conversation. And then we work with them on how to have thoughtful responses already prepared for typical interview questions, because a lot of these kids have never been interviewed before. And then one of the things that we started in this most recent school year was send a thank you letter, an actual handwritten thank you letter after the interview. It's kind of a lost art. And one of the things that I realized, and some of the mentors in the room that have participated in this program realized, is a lot of these students have never addressed an envelope before because they've never had to. So we had to actually teach them how to address an envelope. Because of emails, texts, Snapchat, everything else, they're not handwriting notes or addressing envelopes. So those of you that have been a mentor in the past, could you please stand up and be recognized? Thank you. So the Rotary Honor Scholars Program is one of the club's largest volunteer initiatives. Last school year, we had over 130 mentors that gave over 200 volunteer hours at these schools. And Coach, we're not ducking the smoke. This is Western High School and Iroquois High School, two of the most difficult high school in terms of test scores in the city. And you don't have to be a Rotarian to be a mentor. We have a lot of community volunteers that come to most every mentoring session. So one of the great things about this program is there's no commitment required. And what I mean by that is it's 6 sessions at each school. We're all busy people. It's a lot of time. I lead the program. I typically miss 1 or 2 sessions. So if you can show up once, fantastic. If you can show up 2 or 3 times, even better. There's only a handful of people that I can pretty much guarantee that are going to be at every single session, and unless travel is involved or something else. So no commitment required. So if you have any interest, if this sounds interesting to you, come see me after the meeting, come see me at a future meeting, call me, email me, I'll tell you everything that you need to know. And then if you're a little bit like me, when I first got involved in this program, Walt Kuno led it for years, and I was a little bit nervous. I had a little bit of apprehension about, going to these strange schools, meeting with students that I didn't know. Is this going to be weird? Is it going to be awkward? Don't worry about that. The way that we handle that is new volunteers, new mentors are paired with veterans. That way you can see how the conversation flows, see what the process is, and once you're comfortable, you can jump in at that point. So please, if you have any interest, see me. The dates are up on the screen. Take a photograph of that. It's in Sparks as well. We'd love to see some new faces this year. Please come join us. You'll enjoy it.
Appreciate the leadership in the project, and Rotarians are doers, people of action, so please, one of those, join. It's a difference maker. The kids really appreciate it. All right. Man, today, come on up. Mark, your husband wants to come join. No, he's got it.
I mean, in the back.
Okay.
So people in the back.
Yeah. Standing room only, Coach.
Sorry.
No problem. I like the Red Sox. Well, I don't have to tell you that this man has energy and enthusiasm and passion and tenacity. He's a teacher and tactician. He's got organizational excellence for sure, with just great game preparation and scouting. All you need to know is watching him. My game at SMU last year was a clinic in that. His sense of humor was apparent from the first press conference, one of the best I've ever seen, but it was his ability to assemble a great team, players and coaches, that stands out the most. I remember with 10 minutes left in the Cards ACC game with Duke. I took a picture of the scoreboard. Louisville was up 10 against a team that would have 5 players drafted in the first 50 picks of the NBA draft. We couldn't hold the lead because we were a little compromised by depth because of injuries, but we overcame that loss. We finished the ACC 18-2. We went to the ACC. Can't get much better than that. We went to the ACC championship game of the tournament, which has never been done. I don't think we were even ever in the semifinals of the tournament. Had to play that Duke team again. The Duke team that really should have won the national championship. They gave it away in the last few minutes of the game. Coach Kelsey deservedly won the ACC Coach of the Year honors, and he was a semifinalist for the National Coach of the Year. His teams won 27 of the 35 games. Very exciting basketball and good kids, fun to watch. This season 1 was pretty historic, but this one could be even better. Folks kind of think we have some NBA players on the roster with the phenom freshmen. No pressure, but they're already making plans, Coach, to head to the Final Four in Indianapolis. It's really easy to get there. Coach is already one of the best in college basketball. He's won 11 conference championships, 6 regular season, and 5 tournament games in 2 different conferences. An overall record of 288 wins and 130 losses. That's a nearly 70% winning percentage. Played college ball at Wyoming and Xavier after leading Elder High School in Cincinnati to a state championship. This is going to be his 14th year as the head coach. He also led Winthrop in the College of Charleston before coming here, and he was an assistant coach at Elder High School in Wake Forest and an associate coach at Xavier. He and his wife Lisa have 2 daughters, Ruthie and Caroline, who are in high school, and a son, Johnny, basketball champion already in the CSAA last year for 5th and 6th grade, so now he has to defend it this year. Coach Kelsey.
Ken, that was a heck of an introduction. I want those notes of all those nice things you said about me because my in-laws are coming in town tonight. So I'd like to share them with them. My glasses. So Craig, Slide, brought them up here. These are actually the first day that I'm wearing a different version of my glasses because I sat on my regular ones last night. So these are Ray-Bans. The other ones are Tom Fords. I went on live this morning worried because that's kind of my deal, kind of my brand. They stopped making them. So I am scouring the internet on the black market trying to find a pair of PK glasses. I guess that tells you, my daughters call them dorky glasses. I can tell you how bad they are because they went out of, they stopped making them. Just the card fans that are out here tonight. I came here today. The passion that this city, that this fan base has for our basketball program is unrivaled. Ken, you did break a streak of, I think, 46 consecutive speaking engagements where I was introduced. I've had, I think we're up to like 170. You broke a streak. It was first time in 46 tries where somebody actually mentioned my playing career. People, confuse me for the soccer coach or something like that. I love when people remind people that I was actually a Division I player. Yeah. I was actually playing Division I basketball. I'm so proud of it that many of you have heard me say this, but I get humbled from time to time. I pulled out our media guide at the end of my senior year, and there's an insert from our banquet, and it had pictures of everybody on the team and their statistics. 1,000-point scores are big time now. You score 1,000 points, you're a player. And I missed 1,000 points by 894. Close. My coaching career, and you mentioned a lot of accolades, a lot of championships, a lot of success. I'm a part of that. I think having the right people and great people around you. I think I have the best coaching staff in the country. But in 2012, Ken, when I took over my first head coaching position at the Winthrop University down in South Carolina, that was well before the transfer portal and NIL, where transfers were very, very, very rare. Okay? So I took over the program because, as it happens a lot, they were terrible the 2 years prior. They had won 4 games, and the AD offers me the job, and I take the job. I sat down with him the first time, and I'm like, 4 games, tell me about our roster. And he goes, you know, the good news is we got great outside shooters. I'm like, yeah, it's a start. So, you know, I love shooting. Shooting makes up for a multitude of sins, I said. So we go to start our workouts there in the summer. 1 week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, we're competing, we're playing 5-on-5, and I'm telling you, we might be shooting 2% from 3. I feel like we were like, I'm telling you, 2 for 100 through the first couple of practices. So I go into my AD's office, I'm like, you told me we got great outside shooters. And he goes, we do. The problem is we play all our games indoors. So I go, that's when he kind of hit me with some truth, and he goes, you know, you can't really move on from the players you have because, you know, it's just, guys don't transfer that much. Plus, nobody wants these guys. God bless them. They were great kids. And he goes, man, we can't win on the road. We can't win at home. And I'm like, we're going to have a heck of a time scheduling because we're going to play at one of those 2 places most likely. Our point guard couldn't pass very well, couldn't dribble very well, but he made up for it by being extremely slow. And our center was a little bit overweight. It took us 2 months or so to convince him that gravy wasn't a beverage. But we got it going, and I think they did win 4 or 5 games the year before, and we tripled our win total from that year. You know, and I talked earlier with Kevin Smith from Goodwill, back there in the back. So we're at the ham breakfast this morning, which I didn't know what I was in for, but I pulled in there, and there was like a traffic jam going all the way out to the expressway. And I'm like, this is a big-time deal. I walk in, there's 1,700 people in there, and I get in line for the ham, and stood next to Kevin, and we start talking shop, we start talking business, we start talking motivation, we start talking culture. Right? And you and I start talking about culture. We talked about the hedgehog concept. We talked about the book Good to Great, a book that both of us share. A lot of the foundational principles of who I am as a leader and how we build our organization comes from that. One of the concepts they talk about that is the hedgehog concept. That's doing the basics brilliantly. Right? And so the parable is, and I'll do it in like 15 seconds, you have the hedgehog and the fox. The fox is trying to eat the hedgehog. The fox is this fast, sleek, cunning creature, right? And the hedgehog is this slow, dowdy creature with porcupines that goes at like -10 miles an hour. Yeah. And the fox comes up with a new, creative, sly, slick strategy for eating the hedgehog every single day. He knows a bunch of things. He's scattered, he's spread thin because he doesn't know one true concept that's at the center of his belief on how he approaches his life. The hedgehog just knows one. It climbs out of its cave, it moves forward, it sees the fox coming to do one of his 100 new techniques to try to eat the hedgehog, crawls up in a little shell, porcupines are coming out, the fox runs up to him and goes, ah! He got me again, he runs away. It's the same thing, over and over and over and over again. It's the one concept, it's the center concept. It's keeping the main thing, the main thing. With Louisville basketball, it's 25 strong. You've heard me say this before. UPS, I don't know what their cultural strategy, boiling it down to one core thing, but I would say it's get it there. Disney, make people happy. Louisville basketball, 25 strong. That's everybody in the organization, every player, every staff member, every manager, every strength coach, the head coach, the associate head coach. It's every one of us doing our job every day to the best of our ability, with excellence, with everything we got. And understanding that the student manager, the starting point guard, the head coach, we all have responsibilities, and nobody's is more or less important than anybody else. 25 strong is the collective unit. We tell our guys all the time, culture eats strategy for lunch.
Yeah.
This morning it was breakfast. Now it's lunch. Tonight it's dinner. Strategy matters. Our defensive philosophy, our offensive philosophy, our sideline out of bounds philosophy, our scouting philosophy. Ken mentioned our special situations philosophy, how we execute in our set plays. That matters. Your scheme and how you do your business matters, but it pales in comparison to the DNA of your organization. How you operate, how you roll. And in the theme of that hedgehog concept, I try to tell my players, true genius is the result of an uncluttered mind. Keep your life simple. I tell them, PK tries to be about three things: my faith, my family, and hoop. My faith, my family, and hoop. My faith's where I'm centered. My relationship with Jesus Christ is everything to me. My family, you mentioned Ruthie, you mentioned Caroline, you mentioned Johnny, you mentioned my wife Lisa. Those are my most prized possessions in the world. My job as a father and as a husband is more important than anything. And then last but not least, who? Teaching. People say I'm a basketball coach, and I don't want to say take offense to that, but like, I am a teacher. Craig, the things that you were mentioning about the mentorship, about the, help me out with the, what is it called? The honorary scholars. You are moving the needle in the minds and hearts of the people that need us most, and that's the children in this world. Look, I coach essentially professional sports now. In a lot of ways, it's professional sports. Whether you like it or not, there's a money aspect now to this. But it is. But they're still 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old people, kids, men, that are still in the formative years of their life. Ralph Waldo Emerson said this, and a lot of you have heard me speak before, have heard me say this. Craig, I think it applies to the Rotary Scholars. He had a quote that said, our chief want in life is someone that can make us do what we can. You and you people out there that are helping in that mentorship program are helping them be what they can. It's holding my players to account every day on how they work, how they live, how they treat people, how they love their teammates. That's what I think and Chucky Hepburn just graduated. He'll play in the NBA. And I was so proud, and it was one of my greatest moments at Louisville when he bent down and he kissed the floor on senior night. He became one of the best point guards in the country. He was first team All-ACC, runner-up player of the year, honorable mention All-American. So proud of Chucky. But the greatest thing about what I get to do is impact the lives of kids and men. 20 years from now, if Chucky Hepburn calls me and he's making a major life decision and he includes me in that, that's what it's all about. Just like faith, family, and hoop with our players, when we recruit, it's academics, basketball, character. I don't care that it's professional sports. They are still going to be young men that care about getting their degree. If it's a freshman phenom point guard that only plays in our program 1 year, I don't know. He is still going to class. He's still going to do what he's supposed to do, and he's going to build great life habits. And I'm going to promote, and I'm going to encourage him down the road, if he leaves early, to come back at some point, walk across that stage, and earn that degree. Academics, basketball. I want hoop dudes. I tell them, academics, basketball, character, what are you passionate about? When I talk to the campers that come to the youth basketball camp at the University of Louisville, I talk to them as passionately as I'm talking to you. And I tell them, academics, basketball, character. Be a great student. That education leads to greatness in your life. Be passionate about something. If it's not hoop, if it's not basketball, what is it? What is it? Is it a musical instrument? Is it dance? Is it science? Is it be passionate? Nothing great was ever achieved, Winston Churchill, without enthusiasm. And then last but not least, character. We're going to recruit guys that will take care of their business in the classroom, that are absolutely consumed with basketball, and have character. live their life the right way, great teammates, phenomenal our locker room, spread the right message, represent you, this great city, this great university in a first-class manner. A, B, C. That's Louisville basketball. You can clap for that. Then we get to who. How tough. How competitive. Basketball IQ. And do you make people around you better? How tough. This city embraces a team that plays with grit and tenacity. That's what I told our team last year. You mentioned the injuries. We don't make excuses. We call that BCD, blame, complain, defend. We don't blame, complain, defend. We react. Next man up. Right? Lost my track of what I was saying, but I was on a roll, I can tell you that right there. That's usually the sign for, hey, Kelsey, wrap it up. One of my last speeches at the College of Charleston was a big fundraiser, and there was a Southern Baptist preacher and a big politician right there. And they had both been around me and heard me speak before, and both of them kind of at the same time started to say it. I think they had already been talking to each other about my speech. And they grabbed my arm and he goes, Coach Kelsey, blessed are the brief, for they shall be reelected. We're going to leave you with this, and I know in your email you said leave it open to questions. That's always an interesting dynamic. Bring it on. I'll leave you with this. When we talk about life lessons that we teach our guys, we say never delay gratitude. The thousands of young men that are going to come to the Louisville basketball camp over the next couple of years, because that's important to me. I was surprised by how little our numbers were. I don't know why. It's because they didn't have a camp before or anything like that. But I can tell you, the couple hundred kids that came to the Louisville basketball camp this past year, they're coming again, they're telling their friends. Because this guy's involved in it. I remember growing up in those instances, going to camp, sitting there looking up at Pete Gillen, Skip Prosser, the coach at Xavier, and I remember those lectures. I remember the teaching stations. I remember the relationships I made. So our basketball camp will hear this all the time. You ask anybody that went to that camp, you ask any of our players, and I say never delay, they will all say gratitude. Man, our guys are lucky. Man, I'm lucky. Man, coach at the University of Louisville. I started out as a freshman basketball coach at Elder High School in Cincinnati 25 years ago. And the journey that I've been on to be here and represent one of the most storied programs in the history of college basketball humbles me daily. Our fan base is special, this city is special, this university is special. So from the bottom of my heart, never delay gratitude. Thank you so much. Probably shouldn't have brought that up, but like maybe three quick ones. Yes, sir?
Quick question.
Because we got practice, seriously.
You got away with that, telling me how much money we could pay a player at the University of Louisville. I mean, the paper, the Rotary talked that you had 20 million.
No.
Was it 20,000 maybe?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Not that.
Oh, 20,000?
No, I'm just saying whatever that first number was, no.
Okay.
So the big thing, I'm sorry, finish your question.
How do you go about doing all that? Because, I mean, the ever player, does the ever guy that sits on the bench the whole year, and he's not, Chucky.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. Let me see, what's your name? Love that name, Pat. So Pat, what I would tell you is, it's a new era. What I would ask you guys to do is embrace the new era. So let's talk about the two major shifts, the two most seismic shifts in the history of college basketball, NIL and transfer portal. Okay, so the transfer portal is now free movement, anytime you want to go, anytime you want to leave. And at the end of the day, it boils down to, I get it. The coach can leave anytime he wants, why should the player? Right? Now, does it change? I don't know if it's the purity. Does it change what we all grew up with? Does it change seeing a guy come in as a freshman and know he's going to be there as a sophomore, junior, senior, you're going to see him grow. Yes, I get that. That's still going to happen, but probably more the exception than the norm. Probably 50-50 type thing. But let's think for a second about that team last year. I told our guys on day one in our first meeting on June 4th, Chucky, you played 3 years at Wisconsin. Terrence Edwards, you played 3 years at James Madison. And you loved those places, and it was good to you. You had good coaches and great teammates, and you'll remember that for the rest of your life. But for the rest of your life, you will always, in this town, in this head coach's heart, be a Louisville Cardinal. Forever. And those kids embrace this city. They embrace this culture. They embrace the tradition of Louisville. They went all in. They played their hearts out for you when Chucky Hepburn checked out of the game on senior night. There's 20,000 people standing up. People are crying that were Louisville fans for so long and endured a tough couple of years. And he bent down and he kissed the floor. At that moment, Chucky Hepburn won the one-year player. Chucky Hepburn is us.
Right.
So as this world turns, and you have more guys possibly being here for 2 years, 1 year, whatever it is, whether it's Isaac McNeely, played at Virginia the last 3 years, or it's Ryan Conwell, right, that played at Adrian Wolf. We recruit the ABCs. You're being represented by guys you want to cheer for. Go all in. The money part of it, it's a new dynamic. It's a new dynamic. Like you have a locker. It's everywhere. It's not just at Louisville. At the Power 5 level, it's everywhere. And that person makes up that amount of money. He makes that amount of money. He makes that amount of money. You know what? Here's our cultural blueprint. Relentless effort, competitive excellence, and the most important thing is the power of the unit. It's the uncommon commitment to the guy next to you. It's based on the most powerful force in the universe. That's love. Love your teammate. He's from this country, he's from that country, he's this age, he's that age, he makes that much money, he makes that much money. It's us. It's loving your teammate. It's not your statistics, not your rebounds, it's not your accolades. It's the success of the unit. So I'm not changing. I'm not treating it different because they're making money and he's making money, I'm making money. Like, it's about the process being elite every day, regardless of the money. I probably went too long with that one, so.
My name's Kent Wayland, and I'm more interested in a different team. Your sons, my nephew also played on that team at Holy Trinity, actually. As a father, you probably have a unique perspective being a coach at all different levels across the board. And in my opinion, youth sports culture changes by the minute, by the decade. How do you parent through that and interact with youth sports, and what advice do you have for us with young children these days for how we navigate that process?
Yeah, I mean, there's no parenting book that's perfect. You go, I got great advice from a dear friend of mine who lost his grandfather 3 or 4 years ago, who was a great man, great husband, great father. I respected him. He was and my friend, before his grandpa passed, he asked him, he said, because he hadn't started his family yet, he didn't have kids, but his wife, they just got married. He said, Grandpa, what's the greatest advice that you could give me to be a great father? And I think about this all the time. He looked at him and he said, love your mom. Love your wife.
Yeah.
Love your wife. And I try to do that every day. Lisa's the best recruit I ever signed. I've told you guys before. I always say I hope she doesn't hit the transfer portal. The youth sports thing, man, like, hey, Johnny, ABC, academics, be passionate about something, and have character. Treat people right. Be a good teammate. Be a good classmate. Don't doubt down to others. Treat others the way you want to be treated. You better take care of your business in the classroom, or you're not playing basketball. Basketball-wise, if you're going to do it, do it. Put in the work. Everybody wants to hire these trainers now. It's fine. Trainers are really good. They know what they're talking about. But it's not the hour that you spend with the trainer on Tuesday night. It's the other hours of the week when you get home from school and you get your homework done. Get your butt out in the backyard, work on your game. I don't coach him. I don't raise my voice at games. I don't say anything at the games. I don't say anything to the referees. Anytime I have something to say about coaching, my wife goes, you know what? You got something to say, you take the time to coach the stinking team. If not, keep your mouth shut. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I just want him to love it. I want him to love whatever he's involved with, support him, and not try to put too much pressure on him.
Okay, thank you for being here today, Walt Kuno. I wanted to ask a question about your seating in last year's tournament, but I'm gonna negate that. You also said bring your question, so other people will talk about this or that, or why didn't you do this, why didn't you do that? But the question I have for you is, what's the one question that you wish was asked of one of these things that never asked?
Wow.
That guy. You know, like, stuff you got. What question I wish I was asked I'd love to talk about, besides my faith, my family, and basketball? The Cincinnati Reds. Nobody wants to hear me talk about the Reds, but we are in contention for the first time in 20 years. Big game tonight against the Dodgers. Terry Francona, who's the new coach, Hall of Famer, multiple world champion. He came to Louisville last year when he got the job because they did the caravan down at the Bat Stadium, Louisville Slugger Field, and they invited me down there. I got to meet him. He's the coolest thing in the world. He loves college basketball. He texts me now all the time. I was recruited. It's pretty cool. I'm name dropping like me and Terry are boys.
Thank you.
Hi, Coach. I'm Chris Anderson. I'm a Rotarian from Lexington and a UK fan and U of L fan. And I want to congratulate you on bringing excitement back to the U of L basketball program, because the success here lifts all boats. It helps the Kentucky program. My question to you is, how much emphasis are you going to put on the UK U of L program this year? And my second question is, what do you think of the rescheduling of it earlier in the season?
Okay. So I found out when I got the job, I'm a college basketball fan, but man, I found out about 2.7 seconds when I got the job how bad our fan base wants to be Kentucky. I'm very well aware. They really like when we win that game. I get it. It's an interesting question because rivalries, like, you know, when I played at Xavier, obviously Xavier Cincinnati is a really big rivalry, not to the level of Louisville and Kentucky, but you don't have to say anything to the guys now. They know. Unfortunately, kids that age, teenage, they all live their lives right here. And that's something I fight against every day. Turn the message board off, turn the notifications off, don't read what people say, just look forward. But they know. It's all anybody talks about around town. You see people out in town, I get it, they get it. Like, hey, coach, great year last year. Hey, you got to beat Kentucky this year. Got it. So our guys know. Our guys know. We really try to focus on the next thing. We always say the next thing is the most important thing in the history of our program. So we're not going to put a big emphasis on a game that's 3 or 4 games into the season. We're focused on getting better today at practice. But I get it. It's a big deal. It's a big deal in this town. It's one of the things that makes the state of Kentucky really cool. Is the fan base passion there, the fan base passion here. And that night when the state shuts down, my wife went to the grocery store the morning of the game last year, and she saw some people and they were like appalled that she didn't have red on. And it was like, Miss Kelsey, you know, on this day you wear red and one blue. And she found out really quick. Why it's early, it just worked out that way. It's hard, scheduling's hard. It's hard for them to find a date, for us to find a date. We know we have to play it, we know we want to play it. Sometimes it just works out that way.
Coach, you recently made some promotions within your coaching team, so talk about, your coaches had to revamp a whole roster last year and then this year, and yet you did spectacularly. How do they do that?
So this year, players all over the world. This year we have way more of a core coming back. Last year we had 0.
So you have 3 players from different countries.
We got 5 guys coming back from last year's team, 2 red shirts, Ollie Cleveland, and Kobe Rogers. My staff, you know, I was told a long time ago in business that you don't have to be the smartest one in the room, but you better have the smartest room. And I got elite guys around me that make up for my weaknesses, and I might make up for theirs. It just works. There's that power of the union amongst our staff too. We promoted Brian Cloman in this new world, NIL, more of a GM role, where he's handling the million things that have now been presented as challenges within an organization that are crucial that you're out front of. Brian's been with me 13 years, and we elevated one of the most famous and beloved players in the history of global basketball, Peyton Mayor Greenberg's a friend of mine, but I think if he went head-to-head against Peyton would probably win mayor. Special person Peyton is. Big heart, great personality, brilliant basketball mind. He was crucial for Chucky Hepburn's progression last year. He'll be the same for Mike L. Brown this year. Hey, thank y'all so much. Appreciate it.
So President Ken, before Coach Kelsey gets away, can we get Kevin up here to take a picture? We do a tradition of taking a picture of the speaker and the president. So Kevin, come up and get a picture before you head on to practice. And thank you for being here.
Uh-oh, drop the mic.
That's how I roll.
Coach, again, to remind us of our four-way test and our values. So we appreciate your values, and we hope you have a great season. We know you will. And thank you for last season. It was spectacular. Our incoming president, Barbara Sexton Smith, is going to tell us who gets to follow Coach Kelsey next week.
All right. Okay, we love you, Coach. Thank you so much for being here. I was anticipating a mass exodus as everybody would follow him out to the lobby and the parking lot, but thank you all for staying seated. All right, so y'all know how this rolls. We got the best darn current president in the history of Rotary. Give it up for Ken. So Ken and I were trying to prepare for our joint team effort this year. He said to me, okay, so I want you to come up at the end of every meeting and I want you to introduce the next speaker. And I said, are you sure you really want to do that? And he said, yeah, I do. And I said, well, is Deline going to write the script? He said, nope, you're going to get up there and wing it and make it up every week. So, what do we got, Ken? All right. Now, is this a challenge? Like, do I read this script? Do y'all want me to read these 8 words, or would you like me to add the height? Because he said to me, really, I'm going to tell him what you did. Okay, so he said, no, seriously, I want you to do this. Because remember when you told me for one of Lacey's birthday, Lacey's my husband. Everybody say hi, Lacey. Okay, so several years ago, Lacey, I'm telling you, he got into this. He was watching mixed martial arts, and I'm going, oh my goodness. It's all connected to Coach Kelsey. It's about playing basketball in the Yum Arena. Okay, you got it. So I bought Lacey tickets on the front row, Vernon, at the Yum Center, which packed the house for 5 hours of mixed martial arts. And then I said, Ken, what does this have to do with anything? He says, well, you remember you told me you got your picture with the cut man? I don't even know what that is. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, remember the hype man? I said, yeah. He said, well, you're the hype woman. So here we go. All right, my job is to impromptu make this up at the end of every meeting. So I'm supposed to thread from the current meeting to the next meeting. Y'all remember when we had Dan Dry with the camera and the lens, and I made the connection to the Shady Rays guy, and we had the glasses. It was lens to lens. Well, we got the #1 cardinal bird. That's your bird. That is your clue. #1 cardinal bird was just in the house, and he's left. Guess what the 8-word introduction is of next week's speaker? His name is Colin Bird. Colin Bird is the Canadian Consul General. He is housed and lives there in Detroit, Michigan. And General Consul Bird, he is in charge of Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and
the great Big Blue Kentucky. That's right. He's going to be with us next week. He's been a major player on the world stage with the World Trade Organization. He also was the big player at the G7 and the G20. I'm just saying, he's going to be in the house. So Jay, I hope you come back. Henry Heiser, wear those shades. And somebody connect our coach with the Shady Rays CEO. Can you do that? He's got to be wearing Shady Ray glasses. Fellow Rotarians, scan the code on the screen or call the lean or email and sign up next week. Holly, bring 5 guests. We need to pack the house for our friend from Detroit, Michigan. Ken, it's all yours.
Coach Kelsey's looking for his notes, so if you find it.
We got him.
Oh, you got it?
We got
Okay, great. He practiced literally is at 1:30. I said, what's going on? He's like, well, we've been practicing all summer. We have a finite amount of hours. You know, we got to get it in. So basketball season's obviously here. And to Barbara's point, please come next week. He's a big shot. I'm going to learn tomorrow on a briefing how big a shot he is. But I've done some research, and he's a big shot. And the impact on our Commonwealth is pretty significant, particularly at this time. So, appreciate you coming. Have a great weekend, a great week ahead, and go Cards. Oh, yes, Greg Sherman, sorry. Greg Sherman wants all of you guests, and there were many of you, to come to that table by the door and just spend a few minutes learning about Rotary. All right,